About time you tune in. We speak life for reality, of course, and not fiction. No one gets an opinion on the topics that we mention with the Holy Ghost boldness. God's in control of this. Real talk with real men for purpose and focus. Growth to get better. See, man up, we better. To change for the better. The future getting better. True men of God, leading, going hard. It's time to level up with the Man Up Squad. Now, man up. You got this. M-A-N-U-P. Man up. That man up. M-A-N-U-P. That man up.
The day that the Lord has made, and we will rejoice and be glad in it. Hey guys, we're back together again. Want to take some time and thank Dave for being with us.
Thank you.
Amen. He's just hanging in here with us. Lord, he come off the beach, chilling. We thank God for him hanging out with us. We got a good topic today. We want to talk about men in the role of the family and situations like that. I'm going to start it off by asking the question: do you think that the man's role have changed in the family in 2000, in the year 2000? Have the man's role changed in the families? When I was coming up, the father was the ultimate. And in some cases, not all, the woman submitted to the father's decisions. Now, is that the same or is it different now? Anybody can speak.
Me growing up, I would say it changed because when I was growing up, my grandfathers and great-grandfathers was the ones providing for everything as far as financial. And I seen my grandmothers, they catered and nurtured everybody. They cooked, they cleaned, they took care of the house, they took care of him. And I just seen him like always come, hand his checks over or whatever, you know what I'm saying? He'll lay back the rest of the day in his chair or he'll be upstairs, and then all the children be running through, but grandma be taking care of. And if it start getting too wild, grandpa, great-grandpa be like, all right, Stewart, get them, they in here. Yeah, so nowadays, it kind of switched. Most of the time now, women is providing for the household because the men is slacking and not doing what they doing. I mean, they doing whatever they doing, but now there's not a lot of fathers in the household, so it's also changed. But also, you got a lot of alpha women out here who like, they bossing the man too, so it's like they going back and forth. It's a challenge. They bumping heads with the men now because they got so used to having to do a lot of things on their own or with the father being absent. So that's how I figure that it's changed.
That's good, Bumblebee. That's good. You said something good, real good, David Bumblebee. You said that the man brought the check home. Is we doing that now? Is men bringing checks home to their wife, or is it a?
I don't know. I guess I'm biased because that's what I've done like my whole life in marriage and family. But I mean, I guess just that's my principle. So I don't really see it any other way because nothing else makes sense to me personally.
But I guess you have to have a woman that can provide or maintain what you give her. That's important. That's the first important thing, because you give her a check and she's at Nordstrom Rack. And come back and the lights are cut off. It's a different story.
Okay, so then maybe that's different, because I'm thinking bringing the check home is bringing the check home to take care of home, or we saying bring the check home and give it to her.
Right. That's what you said, right?
Yeah, but see, that's the difference, because back then the woman knew what to do when what they were doing with the money or the check. See, but now, since like you did raise the question, the women these days either don't know how to manage the finances, or like you said, they're going out and they're doing what they want to do first with the money. But that's the big difference. See, the women they different from the women back then, I guess.
That's not every woman. That's
not every woman, but you know, that's how it's changing.
Amen. It's not every woman. Ducky will look at me
Well,
like
I would say for me, I bring the check. I used to bring the check home and put the money on the, put the check on the table. I'd go cash the check and I would put the money on the table and leave it for my wife, kind of like what you were talking about, and she would, take care of a lot of stuff.
So would you put the check on the table, or would you put what you would she need on the table?
When I bring the whole check home, I have to go cash it. And I
Right.
put it in the bag and.
Or you put it in the bag too.
Yeah, put it in the bag. Brown paper bag. Yeah.
That's some real money there in the paper bag. Yeah.
Wow. That's you know what I'm saying.
Ambassador,
Now you get direct deposit. You know what I'm saying?
I ain't bring no check home and put on the table all that old school stuff.
Right.
But I think me and Lynn had like it was like a teamwork thing. And a lot of things has changed how people should do from what Dave was saying.
Right.
That Denzel when they put the check on the table, but it's like you know what bills you have, and
Let's make it work.
and you just make it work. That's how we
Right. You gonna say something,
I
Chris?
think the difference is it's a generation gap because I had a grandfather like that. My grandmother I never saw leave. She never left the house. She took care of everything. But the difference is that our parents, that generation gap where the mom wasn't that the mom didn't. I mean, because that grandmother taught her kids. But then if the mothers aren't being taught, the fathers aren't in the household, that's a whole generation gap that they didn't see any of that. I think to answer the original question, I think the man's role has increased because like my dad, all he did was work and pay the bills. But because of the generation now, they have so many different distractions. I think we as fathers have to be more hands-on. We have to be way more hands-on now. So to answer that question.
You gonna say something, Dave?
Well, yeah, all the question that came up, like you were coming up, same way, but I really didn't have a grandfather until I was in the military. It didn't last long because he passed away after maybe like 2 or 3 years they got married. And yeah, household, both my parents were the breadwinners because they both had almost equal amount of money coming into the house. That's how I learned, but I fell short because when I got older, all the money that I was making when I was in the military, I really didn't have or try to buy a house. I saved up for it. That's what I did. Saved up for a house or a car. And I had to learn as I got older how to
Now that's real.
do balance bills.
That's real. When you don't have someone to model after, you have to create your trial and error.
Right.
And that's when, I know y'all not gonna receive this, but that's when your greatest lesson comes from a woman. Because her disappointment will share your failures.
Yeah, that's why all the money goes here. You take what needs would it be done. I mean, we sit down, talk about the bills, balance it up, round it up, and say, okay, you take that, give me what I want. That's all.
I'm not gonna
Yeah,
do.
I
I'm
mean,
not
it's
gonna
not
do
a
it.
much because
see,
as long as all the
that's
bills,
just-
as long as all the bills are
That's a
being
teamwork.
paid,
Yeah,
as long as all the
that's
bills
good. That's
are
good.
paid, I take care of the groceries.
Now let's let me throw this to the table. Let's say you have a team relationship, right? And paying bills. Do you find that when things are extra in the house, and I want y'all to walk real. Do you find that when things are extra bill, extra something, that the woman, do y'all got a certain amount you make, but then something else come up that the woman will give more than you, or does she even that's rounded off? Anybody understand what I'm saying?
Yeah, I
You know
think.
what I'm saying?
Yeah, I understand what I'm saying. I think for us, we've always just put everything into one pot, and then we do what needs to be done out of that pot. So it wouldn't necessarily be so much that I have to give more or she has to give more because we put it all in one pot. So then if it comes to a thing where it supersedes, back in the day, superseded that pot, then we would use what we had in our hand that could bring more than what the average or regular pot was producing.
That's good. When Tony was born, we had that system 50-50, but I have to be honest, his needs, his like Pampers, or he want to go to camp, or he want to do a program, or he want to do that. I found out that she gave more in that area than I did. That's me. That some kind of way I was maintaining what I was doing, but when things came more, I didn't give more. I'm just gonna be 100 with you. I didn't give more, but she made it so that he could go to camp She made it so that he can have, if he had any challenges with education, that she had tutors. She did that. She did that. Now, I might have got the glory for it, but in reality, you know, I was maintaining what I was doing, but that extra stuff, she really did that. And maybe y'all didn't experience anything like that.
No, I understand. Just like dance, like if the child wanted to grow up and be in dance, like I had no part of it, you know, part in it, you know, of, you know, all I knew was when the program.
Guitars, you ain't know nothing about that, right?
The program
show up.
Yep.
In some cases, she bought your ticket so you can get in there.
Yeah.
That's what I'm saying. I mean, I'm just being real.
Nah, I experienced that from you know, like having several different kids' mothers that, yeah, they do pick up more slack than I did, because like the kids majority of the time the kids live with the mother if the mother and father are not together. So they are the ones sacrificing the most. Like if the kid gets sick sometimes or something like spontaneous or something happen, they the ones that gotta take them to the clinic or whatever like that. And they are the ones that first know what's needed for the kids because they're right there with the kids.
So do we give them do we or why do we give them a hard time when they request or demand for more?
I try not to, because for some reason I got a soft heart for that part, for a single mother, because my mother was a single mother too. So I try to do as much as I can, and then still sometimes put my stuff to the side if they want a little extra time to get the kids or something, because I can relate to what they really go through. They really go through more than, even if a father is called a good father, the mother I still know that my kid's mother do actually more than I do. Even if I do more financially or I get the most money, I still know that they do more than I do, because they had to have that kid every day when they get off of work. Yeah, exactly. They gotta pick that kid up. Even though if I pick it up sometime, they still gotta sleep with the kid, get the kid baths, do this, wake up, get them together, all that, you feel what I'm saying? Because they live there with them. But then, on the other hand, if I take on a kid and I let the kid come live with me, that's something different. But I still know that they do.
That's good.
More.
That's good. Got them shorten your stories though, but that's real good. John, you said you had a question.
Yeah. I got a question, or am I answering that?
Let's do with the question right there.
So I think Right gonna give me the question of are we as a father, am I raising my sons? Was it sons?
Just kids.
Just raising your kids to be like me.
Mm-hmm. And are they receiving?
And are they receiving it?
Everybody know your question but you. So won't you answer your question?
So I definitely want to say I'm trying to raise all my kids to be better than me, not because I don't want them to touch a lot of the stuff I said, or do the same road I've done. So we are definitely trying to raise our kids, and listen, and the things that we're trying to teach them to take the different road they're not receiving.
That's good.
You see what I'm saying? So not they not receiving, the reason to be like me, but when you're trying to teach them stuff, not to go here, I'm telling you, don't take this road. I know this boy, this girl ain't good for you, stuff like that. That's the stuff they're not receiving.
Yeah. Ms. Rock, what was your question?
Mine was,
And answer it.
what type of man would let another man raise his child, and would that be okay? So I would say, the type of man that would let another man raise his child is a responsible man, wise man, because you will be a fool if you don't live in that household and another man live in the household. What you gonna go over there every day defending your child honor and you don't live there?
And if your life doesn't image
Yeah.
what the child should see, you should be man enough to release it
Yeah.
to another man that wants to do it. I think that's fair.
Yeah. I know now I've been on the other side where I was the man raising, the daughter, and one thing that I wanted to do was make sure that I took care of that daughter as if it was my own.
It was your own child. I think the challenge that I think men that are on the other side, like you just said, that your challenge is them having a mother that's trying to make the father be a father when God has already placed the father in their life. Because the man that doesn't know how to be a father is always being tormented by the mother when God has already created a ram in the bush to maintain something like that. I think that's one of the biggest challenge to raise another man's child, is when the mother is still trying to make that man, the man that had the baby, to be the father, when God has created a man to raise that father. You know, I know nobody may not be like me, but I'm that guy to be like, you know, you weren't there all her life. You ain't walking out halfway down the aisle. If not, you take the whole trip.
Right.
Because that's unfair.
The flip side is, I think the way you squash that beef with the mom in the situation is to have the talk with that guy.
Yep.
Because you're respecting the position.
I think the guy's not the problem. I think the guy's fine.
But the
He's fine
mother
not
can
being
be.
here.
But I'm saying you said you got the mother trying to make the
guy.
You know what I'm saying?
Right.
But if you have a talk with that guy, so he understands your position, because a lot of times the guy that's with the mother don't know the drama we had. She only giving him one side.
I think that I've been in situations where the guy come up and say, man, because I'm a pastor and I do that's what I do, and I've seen men come up to me and say, thank you for being there for my son. Thank you for being there for my daughter. And the challenge is that mother's still trying to pull that man in, and he's already freed himself from the responsibility, because God has made a provision for another man. It ain't have to be the man. You don't have to date the girl. Just the attachment. God has created another man to fulfill the role.
Right. And one of the things that I know in that relationship bonding piece, you really don't have to have the talk with the guy. It's what you do on the other side that makes it right, as long as you're having that conversation with the child, that when the father do come around, we can be that barrier or that breaking point with the child to be like, when your father come around, respect.
Make it comfortable.
You know what I mean?
But you don't want no war for another man.
But it depends on the age.
Right.
It depends on the age. So you can't, talk to the kid. I say talk to the guy because let's say the kid is young, because I've been in a situation.
Yeah, mine was too.
And the whole thing is the way you carry the situation. You know what I mean? You can't, like, if like I got a blended family.
Right.
I never tried to outdo the father.
Right.
I believe if you win that child, you ain't got to fight that other time. You get what I'm saying? But there's a position in that, and as that road goes, that changes. You get what I'm saying? To where y'all going to have a talk.
Right.
But like Pop said, you want to, if I've been there and you ain't been there, I've been in this situation. Now he want to come and be in a wedding or want to be in something, and I allowed it. When
I think you should be the one to allow it too.
Yeah, you let the daughter make the choice.
What I'm saying is I allowed it. The mother wasn't having it.
Right.
But if I'd have took that position of he ain't been around all this
I think
time,
it's
no.
immature.
But listen, the child wanted him there.
Right.
That's it.
So see,
And that's who you guys. That's who you got to try to make it
all
comfortable
that.
for. Is the
But
child.
they look at you as the bigger
Yeah.
person, because they look at you as the bigger father when you allow it, because they're like, wow,
Yeah. 'Cause they
ain't coming, because you
But
already
see,
know
the
what
The
mother-
woman that had you
But on the
smashed.
real note,
But that mother carried that baby all that time, or
but
was
let's
dealing
deal with
it
this
by
though.
herself.
But on the real note, most mothers don't like sharing motherhood,
No.
Right. No.
but yet they want. No,
Oh,
yeah.
have this
I'm just saying,
relationship.
the mother wants you to
Maybe not
share
with-
that role,
With the guy.
with the guy, but she will never share that role with another mother. Matter of fact, she won't even speak to the mother if they're challenging the role. Am I off?
Yeah.
Oh,
That's
I
fact.
thought they end up hating the. It's a war. It's a war, and that's. But you got to be okay, and it's fine. You cool with it, but the
gotta
mother,
divide yourself up.
the mother be like, oh, she ain't never did nothing for her. I had her ever since she was 6. I had her since she was 4, and they're like, this is crazy. The child wants unity among everybody, but yet you want to create war. You know what I'm saying?
I've had that conversation.
Go ahead.
I've had that conversation. Yeah, I've had that conversation, and the father was like, he was like, he ain't believe in discipline, and he was like, you can't discipline him. I'm like, okay, well, we need to have a conversation because he live here, and I was like, well, if I can bless him, if you can allow me to bless him, I gotta be able to discipline him, and we agreed to disagree, and I was like, well, this is what I'm gonna do. So
And if you want to take him,
and so
and raise them like sheep, that's
exactly.
fine.
And guess what? Years later, he was like, he was a good father, So, and with the blended family, I believe you just stay consistent, because those kids eventually they'll grow up and they'll mature and they'll realize
They'll
who's
make
who.
their own choices.
and they'll decide who they're gonna call daddy.
That's right.
Exactly.
That's right. That's right. What you gonna say, Dave?
I was just gonna say, I think the fathers not like the mothers be wanting to like you just like discard the father, smash him, because I think most guys that already have kids by other women, they see the pain, they know what dudes go through. So you're not going to try to come into that child's life and
Start a war.
And yeah, start a war. You can be like, nah, just chill. Let the father, let me see what he do, because you still want the had the child be able to they not understanding that what type of guy their father is, so they still gonna want to see the father. They might still want to be the father being life. They not gonna understand, and you just gotta be there to guide them and make it comfortable for them.
I just don't think that women should force men to be something they can't be. And especially if God brought someone in to be that. And that means then let him come in and be what he can be in that atmosphere. I think if you allow him come in and be what he can be in that atmosphere, then that atmosphere becomes balanced. Because there's someone else fulfilling everything that he doesn't. That makes sense?
Yeah, it makes sense. Yeah.
All right, Mr. Pastor Marcus, you had a question and an answer to.
So in that type of scenario, that creates like a stress, that creates a frustration, and so we have to figure out, what do men do to relieve stress? Because for your mental, you know what I'm saying, like we're physical people, so we always want to do physical things, but to release pressure and stress mentally, we have to have outlets of things that we can do so that we won't be overwhelmed, so that we won't be stressed, so that we won't have mental breakdowns. And men don't like to do things that can bring them stress relief, because honestly, most men think that sex is their only sense of release from stress.
Wait till you get older.
But you gotta accept that there are other options. You gotta look at, from a holistic standpoint, like massage, workout, different aspects of things that help
Shoot a
you.
gun.
That's what I was gonna say. Yeah.
Just go to the gun range and shoot until your back come out. And then you're like, I'm going home, y'all. Yeah, that relaxes me. Just to get a target and knock it off, that's good for me. Then get the rifle and go boom, and your shoulder go back. You're like, I don't want that one no more. That's for me. But I don't know what y'all use. Some people like bowling. Some people like. I think the challenge men have, one of the tools to help men relieve stress is fellowship, and men don't do well in fellowship. This is unusual. The sad part is that we can do this easy and feel comfortable, but we probably won't fellowship again until we meet again for another show.
Right.
See, women creates formulas. Hey, I see you Thursday. We're gonna go. We don't do that. And then we do that. Then we get phone calls by Wednesday talking about, yo, I can't make it. Yo, I ain't gonna be there. You told 20 people and only 2 people show up. So I think that's the challenge to release stress or help us, is us sharing with each other and talking to each other. And anybody else got anything to add to that?
For me, it used to be sports. Football definitely was one. Me and my guys, we would go hoop, play basketball, stuff like that. But as I got older and I don't do those things no more, I've been struggling on how to relieve stress.
Right.
So I'll play the game. You know what I mean? I get on there and I play 2K. I just learned. Johnny showed me how to play it.
The game?
Mm-hmm.
You doing that now?
Yeah. I've always had a game system. Yeah.
I know
But
you
it's-
always had one because you took it from Little Willie. But I didn't know,
But that's and like even like back in the day, we used to go bowling with other couples and stuff like that. As far as fellowship, I don't have a problem fellowship with the guys, but I think like as with my church brothers, we don't as much because everybody got families,
Right.
and stuff like that, and it's hard for everybody to get together and stuff like that.
Oh yeah, that is hard. I'm bowling. I'm a bowler. I used to bowl by myself, and even when I was in the service, I traveled and I go to different states and I bowl there. But coming here, out the service, family, so everything is put on the back burner.
Yeah, bowling is you. I used to bowl. I used to be a pretty good bowler back in the day. I still got balls. I love baseball. I love it. You trying to get on me or you trying to bless me? That's what I mean.
Mine is
Coming at me. I thought you was coming at me. I was going to come back at you.
pool.
Dave, what you do for stress?
Workout.
We can tell. How about you?
I like to watch movies.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
I don't like
comedy.
reruns.
I like comedy too, but that's a
No,
stretch.
I don't do well with after I see it once.
Yeah, I don't.
I don't want to see it. Oh, I mean, I'll look at it for fellowship, but good time.
Yeah.
John, you know you got the microphone in your hand, right?
I could watch Good Times like it just came out.
Mine's is shooting pool.
Pool.
Yeah, shooting pool.
You like gambling?
Yeah, I'll shoot. I'll play.
You used to be a minister here.
We only shoot pool. And we only shot pool once though. One time we all went.
Yeah,
Remember
pool
the
is
top
fun.
hat?
Yeah, pool
I
is
bought
fun.
the church 2 pool tables. We ain't never use it. Next thing you know, the sticks was broken, the balls was missing.
The kids did that.
Oh, over. Yeah.
John, you know you was young when you came here.
Little Johnny and them broke it. That age. Champagne, Chad, all them kids broke it.
What was your question?
Mine was our fathers, real fathers, or they just misunderstood. I think fathers is kind of misunderstood.
That's it.
And I think the first thing is to know that some guys don't know how to be fathers. So that's the first thing. The second thing is women can get in the way of a guy trying to father his kid because some women they just nasty. They run their mouths, and guys don't want to deal with all that. You feel what I'm saying? All that drama, and every time they trying to do something.
So the role of the woman should hinder the role of the man?
No, I didn't say that. I said
I'm just trying to find out what you're trying to go with.
No, I'm
that.
saying that. What I'm saying is that
like you're trying to be
even
smart,
though
too.
the guy a little bit, guys will let that see because if a guy not mature enough, he already he don't nobody know how to be a father because they ain't never been a father. You feel what I'm saying? So when the babies or the children first come, they got to learn how to do this thing. You feel what I'm saying? So, but if a dude constantly beefing with the woman or whatever back and forth, that's going to hinder. That is what will hinder. Not saying that that's an excuse for him, but he ain't mature enough to know how to go around that or beyond that. Whereas though is a way you can get your kids, and you ain't got to bother with all that. You go to court and all that. You feel what I'm saying? But you also got to know that having these kids, you feel what I'm saying? Like I said, you're not gonna know, so you gotta learn. But everybody think that you're supposed to know how to be a father. It's a learning process. Like, if you don't know like what to teach your kids, just teach them what you know. Really, they just need to have your presence. So all these guys out here, you think that like I don't know how to teach my kid the ABCs or 1, 2, 3s, or I'm not teaching them how to read and all this. Just you know what I'm saying? Just be there, like take them to the playground. Teach them what you know. That's what I did with my kids, just being real. I taught my kids what I knew. If I knew I played sports, I put a football in his hand. If I worked out, I had my son doing push-ups. Discipline, I knew discipline because my grandparents and parents disciplined me. You feel what I'm saying? You just need to be there.
So the question, I guess the question I'm asking is that does a man have the right to abandon his child because of the pressure from the other person?
He don't have a right to, no, but some will if it's a dangerous situation. Like, cause I done seen a lot of myself. I done been put in situations where I go to jail because I'm trying to get my kid, but this woman wants to bring up all this bull, all this, all this drama when I'm trying to get my kids. So that can make a toxic situation. And if you know yourself and you know what can go down, then that can stop you at the time from being able to be a parent to your kid, because the mothers be petty a lot too. I'm not saying all mothers, but I'm saying a woman know a woman too.
So let me ask you this question, and I'm not saying every man. So do you think that most men should fight for their children like the mother fights for the child?
Yeah,
the mother used
if
the court
they want to
system.
be.
The mother used the court system to dominate the man to play a role in his child, or whatever the case may be. Why don't men go down there and use the system to dominate the woman?
That's easy because most men, I'm just talking about me for myself, coming from the street, you don't want to bother with police, first of all. So most guys that do want to be fathers, see, all guys don't want to be fathers. See, but the guys who want to be fathers and you scared because of what they're going to do, you You're not even gonna be dealing with police, first of all. That's what I had to learn, because I didn't want to do the same thing. You feel what I'm saying? But I learned I can go to court, go down there, sign a little petition or whatever saying that you wanna, you want your kids. Visitations, joint custody, whatever it is that you want, you get to put on that paper. And then they'll be able to bring you, they'll serve your baby mother, you feel what I'm saying? And then you'll have court dates like that, going back and forth. That's all you gotta do. You don't even have to speak to no police. You don't speak to nobody. You ain't no worry about no police harassing you, bothering you, or nothing. You saying, but I know a lot of guys just don't want to deal with court because they go to court so much. And that's why I didn't. But for me to get what was mine's, which my child, which we shared, but it's still mine's too. I had to go to court because this one baby mother was, playing a lot of games, and I wasn't playing games about what's mine's. So that's how I defeated that. And there's a lot of guys out there, y'all can defeat it the same way.
That's good.
And the police don't even have to be involved. So
After you
could cut
make
that.
the initiative, after you make the initiative and show that you are part of the system.
Yep. And if they don't want to come to court, they'll give you. Most time they don't want to come.
You gonna say something, John?
My first kid, I went through the court thing or whatever, but I would always it was my first kid. Didn't know how to be a father or nothing, but my mother raised me, showed me love. That's all you do is you do this thing because it's a part of you. But once when I got around 21, when I met Lynn, she taught me, because she always worked for the people. So
She got you. Lynn worked for the people.
She put me down with
The revolution.
What you just saying, like, and putting the paperwork in, this, that, and the other. And then if you do what MIT David just said, you could flip the script on them ones.
You know what, John? We're gonna get you next time. Our time is up. Dave took all of it. We thank God for what's going on. God bless you.